Good day. Hi. I'm here now. Aren't you so excited? Today, we're gonna read from the Grimm's fairy tales. But I don't know what we're gonna read yet, so let's find out. Let's go with the Rogue's Holiday. Little hen, said a young cock to his wife one day in autumn. Okay, let's try again and pretend like we're adults. Little hen, said a young cock to his wife one day in Little hen, said a young cock to his wife one day in autumn, this is the time for nuts and acorns. Let us go to the mountains and feast ourselves before they are all gone. That will be a happy time, said the hen. Yes, I'm quite ready. So they started off together very early in the morning and stayed all day feasting. Now I cannot say whether they had eaten too much or if they really were tired. At all events, they could not walk home. So the cock made a little So the cock made a little carriage of nutshells. I swear I'm an adult. No sooner was it finished that the hen seated herself in it and said to the cock, Come, you may as well harness yourself to the carriage and draw me home. You are stronger than I am. Very likely, he replied, that I should allow myself to be harnessed like a horse and draw you. It would be better to walk home than to do that. No, if we have the carriage at all, I mean to be coachman and sit on the box. But I'm not going to draw you indeed, so don't expect it. While they were contending, a duck came by. You thieves, she quacked. What are you doing to my nut mountains? There's a picture, by the way. This is a nutshell carriage with two chickens and a duck. What are you doing in my nut mountain? What are you doing in my nut mountains? Be off quickly, or you will get the worst of it. And she gave the cock a tremendous peck on the beak. But the cock was not going to stand that. He flew at the duck and beat her so with his spurs that she was obliged to beg for mercy, and at last allowed herself to be harnessed to the little carriage as punishment for her interference. The cock sat on the box. I didn't write it. The cock sat on the box and drove at a furious rate, crying out, Get on, duck, get on! After traveling some distance, they overtook 2 foot passengers, a pin and a needle. Halt, halt, they cried. We are so tired that we cannot go a step further. Night is coming on, the roads are so dusty, and we cannot sit down because they're a pin and a needle, and they don't have asses to sit on. We stopped at the door of the tailor's shop and asked for shelter, but he said he had too many like us already. The cock, seeing they were slight, thin people who would not require much room, allowed them to enter the carriage, only making them promise not to step on the hen's feet, which should be fine because pins and needles don't have feet. Late at night, they reached a roadside inn, and by the time the duck was getting so tired that her long legs were unsteady and she waddled terribly. So they stopped at the inn and asked for supper and a night's lodging. The landlord made many objections at first. His house was quite already full, and he had thought these newcomers did not look quite respectable. However, the cock flattered the old landlord and promised that whatever eggs the hen and the duck might lay while they were staying there would be his. So the landlord gave them shelter, and glad enough they were of a night's rest. Whatever, dude. Early in the morning, however, just as it began to dawn and while everyone was asleep, the cock and the hen awoke, and seeing the egg which she laid, they made a good breakfast on it and threw the shells in the kitchen fire. Then they went to the pincushion where the needle and the pin still lay asleep, and carrying them away, stuck the needle in the cushion of the landlord's armchair and the pin in his towel. After performing these tricks, they flew away with the greatest indifference through the open window and across the heath. The duck, who preferred the open air, had roosted in the outer court and was awoke by the rustle of wings. Rousing herself quickly, she plumed her feathers, and espying a stream nearby, partly flew and partly waddled down to it, for to swim home would be far better than drawing the heavy carriage. A few hours after the landlord arose and prepping to wash himself, but on taking up his towel to wipe his face, the point of the pin made a long red scratch right across one ear to the other. It was rather painful, but he dressed himself quickly and went into the kitchen to light his pipe. And as he stood to put in a match, out popped a piece of burnt eggshell into his eye. The pain made him start back and sink down into his grandfather's armchair, which stood near. But he started up again, and more quickly than he sat down, for the needle in the cushion pricked him terribly. Then was the landlord very angry and began to suspect his guests who had arrived so late in the night before. He went to look for them and found they were gone, and he took an oath that he would never again admit such knaves into his house. Ragamuffins who ate a great deal, paid nothing, and above all, instead of thanks, performed knavish tricks. That's it. That's the end. Yeah. So, what do we learn? Don't trust chickens. They eat their young for breakfast. That's gross and terrifying. Pins and needles can sit and step on things. It was news to me. Also, they're people? Question mark? Yeah. That's all I got because I can't stand this noise anymore. I'm gonna go fucking insane. So until next time, thanks for coming. I love you all. Thanks for sticking around. Like, subscribe, hang out on my website, watch my other videos. Have a good day, and I love you.